What AI reveals about the book of Revelation. All right, hey, this is Pastor Jason, and this is a really cool subject. Today I typed in a question for Google AI to answer about the book of Revelation, and I want to reveal to you what startling news that I got. This question is written about the date that Revelation was written. Now, the date is important about the interpretation of the book of Revelation. So, without any further ado, let's read. Google on December 1st, 2023. When was the book of Revelation written? The book of Revelation, this is Google AI answer. We have other answers from the Bible. That's cool, and history, but this is what Google AI answers. The book of Revelation was written around 95 AD. The book was written in Asia Minor by a Christian from Eusebius, possibly named John the Elder. The book is the final book of the New Testament and the Christian Bible. It is the example of apocalyptic literature that predicts a final celestial war. Through prophecy, I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit. Sorry about that. Through prophecy, the book is filled with visions and images that point to Jesus' return as the ultimate king. Now, isn't that great? This is Google AI about the book of Revelation. Well, I bring this up to you today because we're going to start in looking at some of the passages in the book of Revelation. And the date of the writing of the book of Revelation is very pivotal about how you interpret it. Real quickly, I'll give you the 4 different views on how the book of Revelation is interpreted. I'll turn my audio down just a little bit more. There we go. Always clipping a little more. Have your listening comfort here. First of all is the idealist view. There's also the preterist, the historist, and the futurist view. Let's read through those. The idealist view is an allegorical method. It was made popular by Augustine, and Calvin was a adherent to Augustinian doctrine. So if you're in a church that is tightly linked with Calvin, then you're tightly linked with Augustine, and it was an idealist method, which means an allegorical method. They allegorize. So if it's not actual scripture, if there's nothing there for you other than personal application, then there's nothing prophetic about it. But I really believe it's a prophetic book. So the allegorical method is up to the interpreter whether to make it applicable or not. The preterist view is the second view. Preterist means past events. Matthew 24, etc., and Revelation, so Mark 13, etc., places like that. Their view is all of this prophecy was fulfilled in 70 AD when Jerusalem was destroyed. Partial preterists see Revelation 20 through 22 as future. So this view excludes Israel. I put it back on me. This is important. If you believe truly that the church has fully replaced the church has fully replaced Israel, God has no more future plan for the Jews, and you believe in this replacement theology, and Israel has been excluded, that makes God unable to keep his covenants, and it's a poor interpretation of the scriptures, in my opinion, and it actually opens up doctrines of demons. So preterism typically gets rid of the Jews, and for some people that's very convenient, and for those who read the Bible literal and look at God's promises as literal and future promises that he will fulfill, that's a whole different story. There's also the historist view. This arose from expositors from around the Reformation. Martin Luther, trying to remember, Charles Spurgeon, people like, he's not close to the Reformation, but he was a historist. Their view is that they interpreted the book of Revelation in light of the events that were happening in their current day. So they saw the Pope as the Antichrist. And so this view, as you can see there, brings about the preterist view that was brought up by Jesuit Louis de Alcazar, so he could absolve Rome of guilt. So The preterist view was created by a Jesuit so that he could distance Rome from the current historist view that was happening in the 1500s. So we also have the historical view. We just looked at that. And the futurist view, get that up there. Futurist, the events of Revelation chapter 4 through 19 are future, 20 through 22 also. But 4 through 19 are the Great Tribulation, the 7-year tribulation. The Great Tribulation is the last 3.5 years, if you want to get specific, which is good. It's the plain view, it's the literal view. This interpretation of the text includes the tribulation and 1,000-year reign of Christ. Just so you know, there's people who will say that the futurist view or the idea of the rapture, things like that these were all invented by a man named John Darby back in the 1800s, Plymouth Brethren. That's not true. Let's take a look at the slide here. At the very bottom, we see that early futurists were Clement of Rome, 96 AD, Justin Martyr in the next century, Irenaeus, 115 through 202 AD, Tertullian, in 150 to 254 AD, until Origen, excuse the misspelling there, in the 3rd century. And Origen is actually the one who brought about the idealist view that was made popular by Augustine and Calvin. So let's go to the next slide here, and I have some evidences on the date of the writing of the book of Revelation. Remember, people use the date for the basis of their interpretation, especially the preterists, that it was all fulfilled in 70 AD. It falls apart if the date's not right. So there's evidences of the date being written of 96, 95, just like what Google AI stated. First, Irenaeus in the works of Against Heresies states that John wrote Revelation at the end of Emperor Domitian's reign, which ended in 96 AD. Irenaeus was a disciple of Polycarp, who was a disciple of the Apostle John and had connection with the contemporary of the Apostle John. The website Greeka, this is a Greek website, writes, "This is how the Apostle John came to Patmos. Exiled by the Roman Emperor Titus Flavius Domitianus in 95 AD, in Patmos, Apostle John conveyed the inhabitants to Christianity and wrote the book of Revelation, the Apocalypse. Patmos then became a place of worshiping and pilgrimage, and actually the culture and history of Patmos are strongly connected to the Apocalypse of St. John." So we also have Christian historian Eusebius. He confirms this and in his history and history adds that after the assassination of Domitian, Marcus Nerva ascended to the Roman throne and released the exiles, and tradition holds that John returned to his flock in the city of Ephesus in 96 AD and brought them the book of Revelation. Now, I believe this is important because the book of Revelation calls itself a prophecy, and it does so 7 different times. The word prophecy is used 7 times in the book of Revelation, and 5 of them are pertinent to this discussion. Revelation 1:3, "Blessed is he who reads and those who hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things written which are written in it, for the time is near." Revelation 22:7, "Behold, I am coming quickly. Blessed is he who keeps the words of the prophecy of this book." Revelation 22:10, "And he said to me, do not seal up the words of this prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand." And then we have some other warnings, but they're clearly linked with the word prophecy. So the book of Revelation is a prophecy, and we can look at it in a future view. Chapters 4 through 19 are future. Matter of fact, the book of Revelation is the only book that declares a blessing on those who read it, but it's also the only book that has its own divinely inspired outline. In Revelation chapter 1, verse 19, Paul is told to write the things the things which he has seen, the things which are, and the things which shall take place after these things. The things which he had seen was the resurrected, glorified Christ in Revelation chapter 1. The things which are the 7 churches in Asia Minor, Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea, and then the things which shall take place after these things. Revelation chapter 4 opens up with metatauta, the Greek phrase, after these things. So it says, after these things, I looked and I saw a door standing open in heaven, and the voice like an archangel saying, come up here and I will show you the things which must take place, metatauta, after these things. So chapter 4 verse 1 is moving into the next segment from the outline given in chapter 1 verse 19, right? The things you've seen, the things which are, and the things which shall happen after these things. And so we have an outline. So after these things, after what? After the church age. And so Revelation 2 and 3 are the church age. 4 through 19 are the tribulation. And so to us, the tribulation is future. It will be very evident when we're going through these things. Now, there's a few textual places, I believe, that just show that this is applicable. It's a prophecy. It's a book of blessing. We also have things that we've never observed before in the world down here, things we can observe that are happening in the world. Artificial intelligence. You couldn't have the mark of the beast. You couldn't have the control that the Antichrist is going to be flexing during the tribulation, especially Revelation chapter 13, without recognition, facial recognition, without artificial intelligence and the computer systems for the backside of all this to make it work, and the high-speed internet to support all of these things. So that's all my slides that I have on that. So the reason of this video is to show you what the internet, what Google says, what AI says is the date of the writing of the book of Revelation. And this really matters, because if someone is a preterist and they believe that all Bible prophecy was fulfilled in 70 AD at the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, and that God is done with the Jews, they're not going to see the fullness of the interpretation of the scriptures. And as we jump into Revelation chapter 1, this will become very evident in the way that we're interpreting that. So I just want to thank you for joining me for this short little video, and I would encourage you to like and subscribe, and then please, in the comments down there, read the book of Revelation and then ask me, hey, whoa, chapter 4 verse 6, what's that about? And I would be glad to break that down and just give you a scriptural referencing of how these things break down and their application, just real short application, I promise. Anyways, I get a little long-winded. Anyways, you can still subscribe, you can still like. I appreciate you joining me and hanging out this far, and I pray that as we go through this journey of the book of Revelation, things would be made very clear to you. It is the revelation of Jesus Christ, and we'll get into that in the first session. I believe we are living very close to those days when the apocalypsis, the unveiling of Jesus, will be before us. And this should be something that causes each and every one of us to desire to live truly, rightly, to earn that crown that is promised to us, to all those who love his appearing. So with that, I'll say Maranatha. God bless you all. Have a great evening.